Yesterday, we got some news from the Pro Bowl from Teron Armstead, Jalen Ramsey, and some Tua Tagovailoa contract talk. So we're going to talk about all of that on this Saturday edition. What is up, Finn fans? Was going to take today off, but there was a lot of stuff that came out yesterday besides the Anthony Weaver stuff, which I did a quick live stream for. You can go back, check that out. Anthony Weaver seems to be the front runner to get the DC job. Very interesting. I've been wanting him, if you go back for a while, to be the DC. But yeah, there's some news and notes that happened yesterday that I thought was very interesting that I want to talk upon. Also, today is the Senior Bowl, so I'm thinking Monday I'm going to kind of give you the top guys from the Senior Bowl, maybe ones that the Dolphins are looking at. Also, the Pro Bowl, I think, is tomorrow. I honestly don't know. I didn't even know there was that mini game thing. Who gives a crap about the Pro Bowl? But first, before we jump into that, I do have to shout out some new members and new sponsors. Not sponsors, Patreons, but technically sponsors on the membership side. Fetty, Goya, Collective Unconsciousness, Brett Hoying, Davey, and Carlos Sainz. Thank you so much for becoming members. If you want to become a member, it's the join button next to the subscribe button. And on the Patreon side, Ernesto Gonzalez, Carrie Davis, Morelli Herver. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. Randy, Joey, and Jay Kirshner. Thank you guys so much for becoming patrons and members. To the patrons, I have a video already up on the Patreon for you guys to go check out. Please comment below that video. I ask you guys for, some things on that one. And on the membership side, you could get content and a ton of stuff because people ask, like, what is the difference? Also, I'm going to do special live streams and special content and everything, especially during the off season. If I get some information about potential free agents and stuff, members and patrons, you will get it first. So if you would like to join, you can either click the link in the description or you can hit that join button next to the subscribe button to be a member. So let's jump into this Mamma Jam. So first, talking with Teron Armstead. So Teron Armstead told the reporter in Orlando that he hasn't decided whether to retire and isn't leaving either way, but won't prolong the process. He would be walking away from $5 million guaranteed and a lot of non-guaranteed if he retires. Hopefully he sticks with that and he won't make it a prolonged process so the Dolphins can understand where they're at. Because Kendall Lamb stepped in for Teron Armstead and actually did really well. So if Teron realizes, look, my body, has been breaking down over the past few years, and there's a reason I haven't been able to stay healthy, and it's getting worse as the years go on. I'm just going to back away and yada yada. Then we can go in the process of either bringing back Kendall Lamb, re-signing him, or looking at different aspects, draft-wise, free agency-wise, and seeing who we can bring in. So, he said, one way or the other, he hasn't decided yet, but he's not going to make it a prolonged process. And if he does retire, I will tell you kind of the cap ramifications of him retiring versus the Dolphins having to pay him. Because right now he is a $20.7 million cap hit with a dead cap of $24.1 million. If they were to release him post June 1st or trade him post June 1st, our release is a savings of $9.4 million and a trade is $14.4 million. The big savings doesn't come until the following year. So the out in his contract is until 2025. So if he does decide to retire, I will let you guys know essentially what that means when it comes to, the cap hit and everything. So there's that. The other thing, Jalen Ramsey talked with Josh Moser, really cool guy. And he kind of talked about the reports that came out, especially from Jaws, saying that players were going out and all that stuff. And I want you guys to listen to this because what he says is actually quite interesting. So check out what Jalen says.
If Vic said that, then I would say that he should be man enough to address who it is. I don't think Vic said that, though. Personally, I don't think Vic would do that. And I disagree, just because I know what we were about. I know how I worked for damn sure, and I know how I led the other guys in that secondary, and I know how we worked. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, we weren't couch potatoes. We didn't go in the house all the time. Like, I work harder than I'll stand on the table and say I work harder than anybody out here right now.
So he's essentially pushing back. And if Vic did say it, then hey, call out who it was. But he doesn't believe that he said it, and he doesn't believe it. And I said the same thing with Omar Kelly, who, reported that he's seen it with his own eyes, how hard they work and all that stuff. So I feel like that was just kind of pushback from the reports coming out about coaches and players kind of not liking Armstead, Vic Fangio, but I thought that was interesting. But the biggest thing about today's video, and it's obviously the title of the video, is the whole contract situation with Tua Tagovailoa. So Tua is getting $20.3 million, roughly. Let me want to make sure I don't give you the wrong numbers on that. Tua right now is 23.1. My apologies. On his fifth-year option. Dolphins are sitting at negative 51. So he was asked a lot of questions at the Pro Bowl, and this was an article from Marcel Louis-Jacques, and he said, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa coming off a career best in 2023, expecting to sign a contract with the Miami Dolphins this offseason. He told reporters Friday, asked about his contract during the Pro Bowl in Orlando, Florida, where he was voted the AFC starter. Tagovailoa seemed confident in the likelihood of an extension getting done. This is what Tua said. There's been communication. I think the thing with that right now is I'm just letting the team talk to my agent and letting them work on it. He also told Pro Football Network that he believes he will sign an extension this offseason as he enters the final year of his rookie contract. Dolphins general manager Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel have long been publicly supportive of Tua as the team's franchise quarterback and exercised the fifth-year option in 2023. Grier hinted at the possibility of finalizing Tua's extension when he spoke to the media after the loss to the Chiefs. He said the goal is to have him here long-term, playing at a high level. See, that's where I find it interesting, right? Because he did say that the goal is to have him here long-term, but he also said playing at a high level. Now, what does that mean? Like, it's like reading a contract for a cell phone service, and then you see the fine print where it's like after you use, however many hours of, service, then all of a sudden your charges get doubled. The goal is to have him here long-term, playing at a high level. What does that mean? There's always the goal, and we'll continue to communicate with him throughout the offseason. Like we've said in the past, you guys know me, we don't really talk to the media through all that stuff, so we'll just keep all the talks internal with his reps. The Dolphins are roughly negative $51 million in salary cap, and they have free agents like Wilkins, Hunt, Baker, as well as expensive veteran Teron Armstead and Xavier Howard that they need to decide on. He said, we're not really right now concerned about where we'll be in March salary cap wise. This is what Grier said. I think Brandon Shore and Max Max, I'm just going to call him Max, would have had a lot of conversations. They've given us a lot of flexibility with multiple options of ways we can create. And so hats off to them just through their work and grinding of things. Again, people are just always like, we have no cap space. We have no cap space. These guys know what they're doing. Mike Brandon and I have discussed a lot. We'll talk with owner Stephen Ross, yada, yada, bing, bang, bing, all that stuff. So essentially, from what I'm picking up and putting down and moving all over the places, it seems like a contract extension is kind of imminent with Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way. It'll rub me the wrong way depending on what the contract looks like. But we'll see. Dolphins, this is also from Josh Moser. He says, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa believes the long-term contract will happen. The first-time Pro Bowler entering in the final year of his contract, yada, yada. So here's the thing, and I've said this at complete nauseum about Tua. To me, Tua is very close to me. I think, crowning him, and this is my opinion. My opinion is like a fly on the wall. It means nothing. But in my opinion, he is very close for me to crown him a franchise quarterback. And I've said this so many times. I've seen him do the things that people say he can't do. I've seen him get better from year to year to year, regardless of how you think or what is the reason he got better. He still got better and played better. It's now the it factor. It's like the last little bit of his game that he needs to work on. And it's so funny because Josh Moser, and I said this in the live stream, but I kind of want to reiterate it here in a video, brought this up. And again, tip of my cap to Josh, because I love the way he worded this stuff, because I get called a Tua near, a Tua non, a Tua apologist, a Tua stan, Tua this, Tua that, Tua whatever, because I push back on false information. And the funny thing is, nobody notices it when I do it for Jalen Phillips. Nobody noticed it when I did it for Rashad Jones back in the day, Ryan Tannehill back in the day. I do it if it's false. If you're talking about a Miami Dolphin player and you're spewing false information, I'm going to correct you. As somebody who now has 44,000 subscribers, I feel like it should be one of my duties to make sure that the information getting out there is correct and not false. So if somebody says Tua can't throw outside the numbers, that's false. I can show you footage of him doing it. If somebody says Tua can't read a defense, that's false. I'll show you video footage of him doing it. Tua can't do this. Tua doesn't audible. That's false. I've seen and then I sound like that. But Josh came out and he said this on Twitter, and it was fantastic. So Tua came out and he said, let me play you real quick what Tua said. This is what Tua said. It's quick. It's 11 seconds.
4 things that I want to get better at. Am I going to share it? Probably not, but I'm looking forward to OTAs when we get to see you guys again and you guys get to see us.
So I love that, because that's just what Tua does. He works on things, he gets better year in, year out. But this is what Josh said. So Dolphins quarterback says he'd like to work on 4 things this offseason. What are your guesses? Mine would be moving off the spot in the pocket better and connecting with wide receivers, which, yes, I agree. And the funny thing is, he didn't say to do it. He said better. Moving off the spot in the pocket better and connecting with receivers. Mike McDaniel alluded to this. Again, he's not saying he didn't do it. He just needs to do it better. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Get to the second and third reads better. Yes. Yes, 100,000% yes. Because he's not saying he doesn't do it. He just needs to do it better. Yes. Extend plays more with his feet. Yes. He's not saying he doesn't do it. He's saying extend more plays with his feet. So he does it. He just needs to do it more. He needs to not take the unwanted sacks, not feel like he needs to throw the ball away. If you can extend the play, get out of the pocket, and keep reading down the field, do it more, man. Yes. Number 4, he said find wide receivers outside the hash more. Yes. And again, he's not saying he can't do it. He's saying more. And then he has a 4A, figure out how to change plays at the line of scrimmage hard because limited time with all of the pre-snap motion. And yes, I agree 100%. Him and Mike McDaniel need to get together and be able to get the plays into him with 25 seconds left, not with 15 seconds left when the mic cuts out. Because with all the motion and stuff, Tua wouldn't have time to. Tua would probably get to the line, identify the mic, and then have to run the play. That's not going to work. So, love what Josh had to say there. But overall, when it comes to his contract, he's, like I said, he's close. And he's going to get it. To the people who don't want it to happen, it's going to happen. Right? I'm just letting you know so you're not all pissy and attacking people. For anyone who's happy Tua did get a contract extension, he's going to. Tua's getting a contract extension. It's more about how much. And I've talked about it. I don't think he warrants the number 1 contract among quarterbacks. I personally don't even think top 5. Because if you look at some of these contracts, they are. Joe Burrow is averaging $55 million, Justin Herbert $52, Lamar Jackson $52, Jalen Hurts $51, Russell Wilson $48, Kyler Murray $46, Deshaun $46, Patrick Mahomes $45, Josh Allen $43. It's like, sit back and look at these quarterbacks. And this is, again, my opinion. Take it with whatever you want. I think Tua is better than Kyler Murray. Deshaun Watson has the mobility, but outside of that, I think Tua is a better pure passer. But he's not better than Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's better than Joe Burrow right now. Lamar Jackson has the legs, but not really. Like, see what I'm saying? There's the dynamic possibility of all these guys, but then you have Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, and Daniel Jones. Especially Daniel Jones. He messed that up by getting $40 million. But I don't think he's worth $55 million a year. Yet. He gets that last little bit of his game, yeah. Because he gets that last little bit of that game, we're winning playoff games. We're getting to championship rounds. We're getting to the Super Bowl. Yes, obviously there's other thing that entails when it comes to, offensive line, receivers not dropping the ball in critical situations, defense actually making stops. But also he needs to be able to do his thing so people don't point to him being the reason. Well, the Dolphins put up 30 points, but we lost by 35 to 30. That's not on Tua. Oh, Dolphins put up 28, but we lost 35 to 28. That's not on Tua. The drop in the end zone, lost by 7. That's because Tyreek couldn't catch the ball. I ain't on Tua. He had a perfect passer rating through 3 touchdowns, no interception. See what I'm saying? Those are the things he needs to work on him, getting himself better, working on that mobility, getting out of the pocket because the pocket's never going to really be perfect all the time so that those naysayers have nothing to say. Well, we keep losing. It's not because of Tua. It's not because of the quarterback, because they don't say that about Justin Herbert. Even though some of it is Justin Herbert. They didn't say about Lamar Jackson against the Kansas City Chiefs. He didn't have a great day. Jalen Hurts sucked for the second half of the end of the season. Say anything about him. So that's the things he needs to work on. But I want to give you guys an update on that. Again, I'm saying when because I honestly think it's going to happen. When he signs a contract, we will talk about it. When we get the full details, we'll talk about it, break it down, see how it affects this and that. It will give us cap space. He's due $23 million, I think I said. Probably can knock it down to like 10. Give us about $13 million in cap space. Huge. So it's gonna be pretty big. But I will keep you guys updated. Monday will be the video. I'm going to talk about the Senior Bowl, and then we'll go more into free agency stuff. But Senior Bowl is going to be interesting because a lot of guys are rising on the big boards, and going to be real interesting. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Fins up.